not goodness, actual, this is physical cringe. Almost pure. Like laboratory, this is laboratory level cringe. From my state of New York, just like the State of the Union is delivered by any one president a couple of times or once a year or whatever during their presidency, the states, I think the governors, they do State of the State Union, State of the State addresses, and whether that is published or whether there is some sort of public broadcast, or if it's just maybe it's something a little bit less formal where it's just broadcasted on what is it, like public access television, just to get it on out there. But in New York, they dolled it up, and it's so bad. I'm going to play it for you. It's 1 minute and 10 seconds long. You might have already seen it. Kathy Hochul's State of the State. Everybody got amped up with a nice little dance number prior to. And it's about, like, what is this? What the hell is this? It's older women having a good time, Frank. Stop being a what the hell is this? Like Victor Victoria. It's especially her in the back. This is just so, I don't know. If you ever been to a Christmas party put on by a theater geek or anything like that, you know exactly what I'm talking about here. You know these people. If you grew up in theater circles, you know these people. Of course, they can really move. They can really move, shake. That's right. Welcome to New York. This is fantastic, isn't it? That's why it's hard for me to... They could have done this at a Chuck E. Cheese, and it would have been more dignified. Yeah. He's got the face on. That's the face you put on when you're really feeling it. Even I put that face on when I'm dancing. I can't believe you feel that. Oh, and then he put on the cataract sunglasses. What is those? Look at that. Look at those gigantic sunglasses. Those are the cataract sunglasses my grandfather used to put on top of his readers when he was driving. Did anybody else's grandparents have the cataract sunglasses? My grandfather had the gigantic cataract sunglasses that just went over whatever the hell else you were reading that were prescription. Huge. Oh, yes. Yes, pump up the jam. Pump up the jam, New York. Well, there she is. Yeah, Kathy Hochul. We're here to see the Beaver Queen. Oh, yes. No, we're watching the whole thing. You thought you were getting off easy? Oh, you strike that pose. Yeah. I'm not racist. That's the I'm not racist, I love everybody pose. Anyway, the State of the State is terrible. She could have said that and left. Like I said, Chuck E. Cheese. I was sitting down with Aurora the other day, yesterday, 2 days ago, maybe. And we were at the breakfast counter in our kitchen. And I was on my in the morning now because I had got the new iPad. I had the iPad 2. I said, you know what? I need to update it because there's now iPad 10 is out. So I got that, and I got this new thing where I can prop it up, and I have an external keyboard, so it's like a laptop. So the last couple of days have been really awesome because I've been able to spend more time in the kitchen, at the counter with Lauren and Aurora, just having the coffee, talking with them, and doing my emails. So I can spend less time at my desk in the office in Studio B. And it was just me and Aurora at this point, and I guess she had seen a Chuck E. Cheese commercial when she was hanging out with my mother at some point over the last week or so. I didn't even know there's still Chuck E. Cheese commercials. She says, I really want to go to a Chuck E. Cheese. I said, what do you know about Chuck E. Cheese? She goes, I saw it on TV. I said, really? She said, Dad, it's a place where a kid can be a kid. I said, oh yeah? I remember that line. So they kept that. She's telling me all about what Chuck E. Cheese is about. Dad, it's where a kid could be a kid. Yeah, I heard about that. And with the musty old singing mice and all that other shit. Anyway, that's what's going on in New York. Here is, speaking of thespians, just the news. Trump announces special ambassadors. I was holding this this headline for today. For today, it came out yesterday, but I was holding it for today in case Matt was with us. But he's got strep throat, so that's why he's not here tonight. But he sends his regards to everybody. Trump announces special ambassadors to Hollywood to bring about golden age. Jon Voight, Mel Gibson have long been outspoken Republicans. Sylvester Stallone, recently appeared at Mar-a-Lago and called Trump the second George Washington. But on Thursday, President Trump announced the appointment of 3 high-profile celebrities to serve as ambassadors to Hollywood to resuscitate the American movie industry. Now, my whole thing is this. We don't need ambassadors to Hollywood. Hollywood, like Washington, D.C., is irredeemable, and just let it go. It's paying for its crimes right now. It's paying for all of its terrible miscalculations about what people are ready for, that they'll never be ready for, because it goes against the actual fabric of humanity itself. The things that the controllers out there, the central planners out there, want to be able to change and tinker with, just happen to be the way that we're built naturally. Can't happen. So if they want to do that and put, trans characters into every kid's film, and they start realizing that they're losing billions and nobody's caring and they're becoming the butt of every joke, let that happen. There is a huge amount of people in this country who would love original music that could be independently distributed. So many movies out there right now are usually just limited release in theaters anyway. They're always going to streaming services. It's a totally new place. So again, I hope, just like what was my greatest hope in Trump 1.0, was that there would be a real concerted effort to anoint new media. Meaning, I understand why he goes on a Joe Rogan podcast or a Lex Friedman Ambien Land podcast or something else when you're in the middle of a campaign and you really want to be able to break through to whatever kind of undecideds or new voters and get in with new generations by talking to, Gen Z influencers and all that. I understand why somebody has to do that if you're in that line of work. But, from now on, I really think that instead of trying to resuscitate the American movie industry in Hollywood, there just has to be a new Hollywood. And I would not give the old guard any chance to have a foothold in the new Hollywood. Just like I think that people like Donald Trump, who have audiences that follow them around everywhere, should just start sitting in on. You have plenty of staff. Go and vet me some great hosts that have less than 100,000 subscribers, wherever the hell it is. Start spreading out and find really great, well-spoken people who have interesting topics and they're really engaging and there's some kind of a quality about what they do, and just sit in on one of them and just king make. You could be a kingmaker. That's what has to happen with broadcast media, with movies, with music. And it's already happening, but I'm just saying he can be an accelerant to that. And I hope that people like Jon Voight, Mel Gibson, Sylvester Stallone can be can help with that. Because especially Mel Gibson, Sylvester Stallone, they finance a lot of their own projects now. They can go and have gone completely independent in many ways, and that's what needs to be happening. I don't care about sending ambassadors to the old world that's rotting from the inside out. You know what I mean? So that was, I like to see that. They'll serve as special envoys to me for the purpose of bringing Hollywood, which has lost much business over the last 4 years to foreign countries, back bigger and better and stronger than ever before. These three very talented people will be my eyes and ears, and I will get done what they suggest. It will again be like the United States of America itself, the golden age of Hollywood. Well, I mean, it could be the golden age of something new. And as far as Hollywood goes, here's one more Hollywood headline for you. It has to do with Brad Pitt. Brad Pitt is the shit. Here is a headline from Variety. You might have heard about this, but Brad Pitt has spoken out. He has spoken out on an awful love scam that cost a French woman $850,000. Okay, it takes advantage of the strong bond between fans and celebrities. What is the scam? A 53-year-old French woman was swindled out of nearly $1 million, $850,000, by someone pretending to be Brad Pitt. The story broke on Sunday. Can you imagine being the scammer and realizing I'm getting away with this? She's actually sending me hundreds of thousands of dollars. This woman has the money, and she thinks I'm Brad Pitt. Unless she took out a loan or something. The hoax started when Anne, who was then married with a wealthy man described in French media as a millionaire, was vacationing with her children in Tignes. It's in Tines. It's another one of those French Alps. I don't know. Maybe Noor bin Laden would be able to tell me what it is. And downloaded Instagram to post pics of her ski trip. The scammer first pretended to be Pitt's mother and told her that her son needed someone like me. Anne said it, so she's cheating. That comment alone got her looked into it. Eventually, Anne began receiving AI-generated photos and passionate messages from the fake Brad Pitt, whom she said knew how to talk to women. Oh, yeah? The person pretended to be the actor ultimately claimed he needed $1 million for kidney treatment. God have mercy. Because he was unable to access his bank accounts due to his divorce with Angelina Jolie. Anne, who by that time was divorcing her husband, had received funds from the settlement and gave it all to the scammer, who was flooding her with AI pics of Brad Pitt in a hospital bed. Where's the picture? Hold on. No, I've seen this picture before. And hold on. Brad Pitt hospital bed scam. Where is it? Pick. Is this really it? Oh no. Look at some of these pictures. It's incredible. There was better Photoshop done in 1997 when you literally had to cut faces out, put it onto other bodies, and then put it into a Xerox machine. Man, the French millionaire is so lucky that he got rid of the wife. I mean, how ridiculous. But let me tell you something. I will say this is a particularly bad thing, the $850,000, but I had a family member almost send $200 to someone that they thought was a cast member of CSI Miami. Thankfully, they told me about it first. I said, no, this is not real. This is not real. Any cast member of CSI Miami is not going to get in touch with you for $200 because you're never. So, I mean, it happens in smaller amounts. I don't know how convincing these things can be. For some people, very convincing. $850,000 worth? Dear Lord. Anyway, that's the end of that. And that's the end of the grab bag. Let's get the show started, shall we? It's going to be a fun one tonight. Intro we go.
Tired of your ordinary, boring life in a red state? Why not visit California? California is a premium state with premium ideas. We've got the highest housing prices, gas, and taxes of any state. And more is always better. Come see our breathtaking beaches, our majestic, mostly peaceful forests, or come to see a family friend.
You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up. Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life. It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line. That's why we're going back. Does anybody else want to stay? Let's rock!
Oh. Fantastic. Good times. We're going to be flying through time tonight. Hey, you know, before we get into the time-traveling Trumps, I was wondering what you thought about this from NBC News, well, from everywhere. Trump's inauguration will be held indoors. For those of you who thought that this entire damn thing should have never been outside and there should be no celebration and nothing else like that, it's too much of a security risk. Just get him inaugurated and get the work done. I'm sure that you're pretty happy about this, that it's going to be a lot more low-key. It's being brought indoors due to frigid weather in the forecast. The last time a swear-in was held indoors was Ronald Reagan's second inauguration. So they say that there is going to be it's like a 20 degrees with a wind chill of 6. And they're going to bring it inside. And I don't know, as far as all the people that went out there, traveled from all over the country to go there and be there, I don't know. I think that there's going to be the Capital One Arena, which is where the rally is going to be on Sunday. I don't know if that's also going to be able to, In his post on Truth Social on Friday, he also announced that supporters will be able to watch the inauguration ceremony from the arena on Monday as well. Which, of course, you know, it's a basketball arena, so what are you talking? 25,000 at most. And of course, you know, there's people out there who are just like, oh, he was afraid that nobody was going to show up, and you know, other people have been able to do this in colder weather, and this is just it's just so sad. Me, I really don't care. I don't care at all. But what do you guys think? Is it for the best? You know, where are the tens of thousands of people who are traveling in, regardless, those who are in the area that might have been going, where are they going to stay? I wonder how they feel. There must be a couple people that are upset. So I guess that outside of the arena, there's going to be a lot of people packed into local sports bars. And if I was a sports bar owner right now, I'd be coming up with all types of specials. Cash in on this. There's going to be a lot more foot traffic. Is the parade still going on? I didn't see anything about that, though, if there was still going to be that parade. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that's all she wrote on that. So here's what we have tonight. Here's what we have tonight. It's Friday. It's the last show before the big day. Against all odds. Was it against all odds? Was it a game of odds at all? Was it a game of chance, or was it preordained? That's the real question. So we're going to have some fun tonight. Goofy fun, maybe. But sometimes truth is stranger than fiction. And there are a lot of strange things to consider when we look back on the wild story of the time-traveling Trumps. Now, back in December of 2020, December 2nd of 2020 to be exact, John Carroll penned this, Trump's Jump Through Time. And he compiled a blog on the subject for Quite Frankly.tv. You can read it there whenever you'd like. And to this day, Mr. Carroll says that this fantastic story is still one of the biggest reasons why he, at least, is committed to keeping an open mind with respect to Trump, as far as how supernatural and how out there really is all of this stuff. I mean, it's going to be very easy to tell. It's going to be very easy to tell as we go through it. So, might as well have some fun. Let's do it. All right. So, by late spring of 2016, outsider businessman Donald Trump had shocked the political world and emerged as the winner in the Republican primary. From the moment he descended the escalator, Trump employed many unconventional strategies which seemed to guarantee victory before his battles were ever fought. He turned his greatest enemy, the media, into his most effective asset, baiting them into dedicating their entire programming to attacking him. By doing so, and without realizing it, the media became the main conduit for his campaign messages, while simultaneously destroying their own credibility. This phenomenon, which has come to be known as the Trump curse, also played out on an individual level. In trying to counter Trump's attacks, each of the other 16 candidates ended up destroying themselves, turning what was already a crushing defeat into total annihilation. The country was astonished by Trump's meteoric rise and wondered, how is he doing this? Well, in August, that is August of 2016, a 4chan thread suggested the answer and spawned what is arguably the best Trump conspiracy theory ever. Here it is. Trump has a time machine. This is from August 17th, 2016. The OP says, after Nikola Tesla's death, the FBI ordered the alien property custodian to seize Tesla's belongings, even though Tesla was an American citizen. The National Defense Research Committee called in an MIT professor to make sense of Tesla's notes in order to analyze if any of them could be weaponized. That MIT professor was John Trump. If you are not familiar with Tesla's theories in his later years, he explored fantastic topics like free energy, anti-gravity, invisibility, and even time travel. John Trump claimed that there was nothing of any real substance in Tesla's notes, but this, of course, was a lie. He knew that if the National Defense Research Committee realized what the notes contained, it would mean the end of the world, because included in them were blueprints for a theoretical time machine. Although John Trump thought the Tesla's time machine was plausible, it was not possible to create using the technology existing during his time. John Trump later died in 1985, but not before leaving Tesla's notes and their implications to the protection of his beloved nephew, Donald Trump. Now, is that the case? Again, this is what kicked it all off. Around this same period, Donald Trump was known for using pseudonyms such as John Miller and John Barron in partial homage to his uncle. However, there is another pseudonym that Trump was not so well known for, John Titor. Now, many of you probably know about the Titor or Peter. I don't know how you pronounce it. But Trump, as John Titor, traveled to the future under the assumed identity of a soldier, where he discovered that America and the entire world had become a nuclear dystopia caused by radical Islamic terror. John Titor began posting to several forums in 2000 and 2001, speaking of events that had happened in the timeline that he had witnessed. He spoke of terrible events that would occur from the early 2000s through 2012. He could not name radical Islamic terror at the time, but the timeline may become unavoidable. He had to be extremely cautious and analyze the near infinite temporal variables and possibilities before making his move. Trump traveled time, amassing a fortune, and making subtle changes which helped him delay the future he saw for as long as he could. But what future is now coming? Or that future is now coming. Trump knew that the only way he could have had enough influence to prevent this future totally was to become president of the United States. If it had ever seemed to you that Trump had a bizarre ability to accurately predict and manipulate his political opponents to his advantage, you're right on track. The truth is, they are not predictions. Rather, they are preordained events. So that was the original thread on 4chan. Now back to John Carroll. Conspiracy Presentations produced a fantastic YouTube documentary on the time travel theory that digs much deeper than I'll be able to here. I'd highly recommend everyone check it out. And I think we've aired that a couple times over the years. The theory is so compelling because the underlying details are verifiable, despite being widely unknown, and are very curious in their own right. Donald Trump actually does have a connection to Tesla through his Uncle John, who was tasked with doing exactly what the thread alleges. Likewise, someone using the name John Titor really did post to the internet forums in the early 2000s, claiming to be from the future and warning of a post-nuclear war dystopia. Trump has mentioned his uncle many times during interviews over the years, who he says taught him about the danger of nuclear weapons. He became passionate about the issue, and world peace at large in the 1980s, and even graced the cover of Manhattan Inc. magazine holding a white dove. Now, here's a little bit from that. I think that either that article or a collection of excerpts from other articles. Here you go. It's also true that Trump has an entertaining history of creating false personas to hype up the strength of his company and his desirability as a lover. Using his fictitious names John Barron and John Miller, respectively, his use of the name John in homage to his uncle makes sense too. Oh, those John Miller voice messages. Let me make a note to myself so that I can do this. Hold on. I'm going to do that hopefully during intermission. Let me see here. Okay, back to this. The John Miller voicemails are incredible. Him just planting stories with I think journalists and stuff like that. It's incredible stuff. Tesla's time travel research was rooted in his lifelong quest to understand the mysteries of electricity because he believed the two are linked. Hollywood filmmakers would have us believe they are, and they know much more than they say out loud. It didn't take long for others in the thread to connect the time travel theory with lightning striking Trump Tower earlier that year. Could it have been more than just an omen? Similarly, in the waning days of 2020 campaign, could that appeared to have simply been 3 flashes of cosmic irony that have actually been the time machine being activated again? And as you know, there were several famous lightning strikes on New Year's Eve this past year, too. I think in D.C. and New York or something like that. Who knows? So here's some of the people who had put it thrown down on that thread. Some of the comments. Anonymous. I had never heard of John Trump before today, but now that I look into it, I think there's a pretty good chance that Trump is actually in possession of some rare Tesla technology. Holy effing shit. It all makes sense. This is why Trump Tower got struck by lightning. Wasn't this the day that he officially was nominated? I know it was a special day, or I knew. Trump was in possession of Tesla notes and inventions. Great Scott. Holy shit, it's real. What the F? Why haven't we heard of this before? This is like a movie plot or something. There's your headlines. Chicago, Trump Tower struck by lightning on evening of Illinois primary. Lightning will have to strike twice for Trump to win. This is October 20th, 2020. All those times later. That's March 16th, 2016, then October 20th, 2020. So now strap in, because here's where things go from interesting, coincidental, and impossible to downright spooky. A short time later, researchers discovered the books written by a man named Ingersoll Lockwood in the 1890s. I have this book, and I was thinking about making it a book club read. It's very, very short. One book is called Barron Trump's Marvelous Underground Journey. It's all about a quiet young boy named Barron Trump who was born into a wealthy family and lives at the place called Castle Trump. Barron is guided by a master of masters known as the Don, who gives him a map to a portal in Russia, which will allow him to travel through time. The other book, published in 1900, the other book is called 1900 or The Last President. Sorry. Should give readers pause from the title alone. It opens by describing New York City in the state of uproar after the election of an outsider candidate as president, and how the Fifth Avenue Hotel was in danger from a mob of anarchists and socialists. Later in the book, the new president would go on to appoint a man named Pence to his cabinet. It's all there. All the excerpts, all the scans of the pages. So you can all check that out there too. Fifth Avenue Hotel. I mean, it's where Trump Tower is. In another twist, the Barron Trump that we know today might be more involved in the shadow war than we can imagine. Barron is suspected of having been the OP of the thread, who posted a hint about his identity, and the president has bragged about his computer skills on numerous occasions. Others have noticed that Barron doesn't just look more like his father, than the rest of the Trump children. He looks exactly like him. They speculate that Barron is Donald, who retrieved a younger version of himself from another timeline to fulfill some hidden purpose in this one. Could it be? As I tell you, that's my favorite Baron Trump theory. That he is Donald that has been whisked away by Donald from another timeline because he's going to be served for a higher purpose here. So, what it could all mean, I don't know. The key is Baron Trump. He knows all. He's seen into the abyss. Either way, the OP went on to describe a complicated plot in which nefarious actors also possessed time machines. He alleged that Trump, aided by clones of Mike Pence, has been fighting Hillary Clinton in multiple timelines for a long time. And one of his primary goals was to prevent the 9/11 attacks. There are no sources to support those claims, but it's notable in any context that private citizen Donald Trump sounded an awful lot like 9/11 truther immediately after the attacks. In an interview during the 2016 campaign, he told reporters, "You will find out who really knocked down the World Trade Center." Here's more from 4chan. Mike Pence, these are from Anons that were just commenting along. Mike Pence, or rather copies of him, were sent back to the past by Pence Prime and Trump in order to infiltrate the lives of political enemies before they ever became political enemies. Indeed, there are many such enemies, none of whom you have ever heard of, who met their demise or fell into the obscurity long before they could become a threat to Trump. Pence's motive to help Trump are as follows: avoid a temporal conflict, become president himself, as promised by Trump. Well, I don't think that the Pence stuff really matters anymore. Do you think that there's still a place where this is relevant? I mean, he is an outcast unless this is again, he was supposed to be some kind of a disposable wipe or something, because he's still out there talking his shit. I don't know. Why was Pence in Taiwan the other day? Take your notes, I'm telling you. Tell me what's interesting. Tell me what you think could be crossed off the list, because every theory needs to be whittled down and retooled and refocused, right? So just please take your pencils out, take your pads, and let's go for it. Let's see here. That's quite a story. But if we want to take it seriously, we have to address the obvious question. Is time travel even possible? In 2017, officials from CERN and the University of Geneva concluded teleportation and traveling forward through time may be possible through wormholes, the bipolar black holes that link different regions of the universe, end quote. In an October Quite Frankly.tv post about CERN, we learned about physicists, how they believe that detecting mini black holes might lead to the discovery of other dimensions, and that CERN press release even admitted that their Large Hadron Collider could be used to deliberately create mini black holes. That post discussed other information relevant to the time travel theory as well. Namely, it appears to be possible to make mathematical changes to the space-time continuum to alter reality itself by changing the people's perception of that reality. Meme magic. This is where the meme magic comes in. Using a subatomic particle accelerator, the Mandela effect is suspected to be an example of this occurring in our timeline. CERN is probably not on Trump's side, but their Japanese counterpart organization, Keck, might be. Participants in this thread also speculated about the meme magic connection, and the OP responded that indeed Trump knows how timeline changes work. So here you go, from the thread on 4chan about this. Don't let the shills slide this thread. The memes are converging. Keck was revitalized using chronoton radiation. A time travel event woke the god of chaos. Repeat the memes are converging. Sent shivers down my spine, everybody's saying. Now the question remains, did Trump go back in time and awaken Keck? We're talking about the frog. We're talking about Pepe. We're talking about everything that came together in 2016. Did he go back and awaken Keck by accident to receive his blessing, or did Trump create Keck because he knows that mimetics are what holds timelines together? Or is Trump Keck himself? Oh my gosh. It's crazy. Minds are getting blown right now. You guys can see the writing on the wall and are getting a bit ahead of me. I don't know about the connection between Trump and Keku, but Trump did indeed visit ancient Egypt as one of his first travelings. This is where he began to understand timelines and how he could have impact on them. Isn't this great? He built the pyramids, the greatest builder of them all. Trump built the pyramids. This was so I loved this. And then we go into Trump is causing the Mandela effect, somebody concluded. The celebrity deaths being averted or delayed are due to timeline ripples. The huge and lavish funerals for otherwise trivial people are because the slow news days, because Trump and Pence are stumping the terrorists. Muhammad Ali and Mandela died in the Alpha timeline, and few batted an eye because bigger events were occurring. Trump is not just a god emperor, he's a superhero. Oh. So onward. Back to John Carroll. We can't definitively prove that Trump is a time traveler based on the information presented here. But I'd like to end with one last observation. The majority of human communication is nonverbal, and the Quite Frankly audience knows better than most that intuition and the subconscious are not things to be ignored. Look at this photograph of our president. Look at his face. This should not be possible for a man to be this smug. It's not just the face of a confident man. This is the face of a man who knows he can't lose. If hindsight somehow proves the time travel theory to be true, Trump will go down not as only one of history's biggest winners, but also as one of history's biggest hypocrites. To be clear, I'm not in any way suggesting his alleged timeline-altering power plays were wrong or unnecessary. I just think that it's pretty rich for Trump to accuse his enemies of rigging the election when he might be guilty of rigging reality itself. What a conclusion. Am I right? What a conclusion. And there's a couple of comments there too from Mitchell Randall from 5 months ago. Since this was posted, the man literally dodged a bullet while campaigning. So, I mean, this is, I throw it all out to you now. I throw it all out to you, and there's a little bit more. There's a little bit more going back to this summer when Trump returned to Twitter or X, just as his follower count hit 88 million. Now, why is that significant? Here you go. Breaking. Donald Trump is active again on X in almost a year. In the last couple of hours, the account has been running ads on X. 88 million followers. And all of a sudden, boom. Now you say, well, it's an election year. He has to start going. Yeah, but 88 million is very, very, very important. Attend the 88 million followers interview at 8 p.m. If I were to do this event, I'd do it in August, just so that would be the 8th month. Not sure what the 4-day delay was all about, but I'll let it slide. Maybe too damn obvious? Partially my fault. That is from Invisidon on Twitter. When this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're going to see some serious shit. That's some Doc Brown. That's the time machine. That's the DeLorean, man. That's when the flux capacitor starts twinkling and things start happening. 88. Now, here's another little something for you. We're hearing a lot about this, the 250th celebration, 2025 being a build up to 2026 and World's Fair. Well, there was a 250th anniversary of America World's Fair proposal that was put out there, brought to you by IngersollLockwood.com. Take a look at this. IngersollLockwood.com, the World's Fair, America's 250th, Pioneering Frontiers. I want to talk about Tesla, the World's Fairs, all that stuff. Option A, look at some of the things here. Exploring the next frontier, space, technology, health, global innovation, sustainable transportation. Location, duration, they want to be in Cape Canaveral. This is what they propose would be nice. Space Exploration Pavilion. Quantum computing and advanced technology hub. Quantum Leap exhibit. You remember, what was it, the Quantum Leap show with it when he was in it? Future of Communications Pavilion. Safe 6G and beyond. Satellite, internet, and global access. Augmented reality communication. Unlocking the secrets of Tesla Pavilion. Groundbreaking inventions. Early radio. Wireless energy. Wardenclyffe Project. So it's just really interesting to see all this again. There'd be a food pavilion, Make America Healthy Again, probably all be in tallow, cooking in tallow. And the fact that it's being served up as a proposal by the Ingersoll Lockwood Group or .com, what is it? That's the Ingersoll Lockwood Incorporated. Listen to this. I don't know if this is actually their location. But whereas they say on their website that they are strictly Ingersoll Lockwood Incorporated is a nonpartisan group of Americans with distinguished careers serving in our great nation. We do not believe in the QAnon conspiracy, nor would we ever. Please tell this to all. Team Ingersoll Lockwood. And then you go down to see what their corporate information is at the bottom of the page in the footer, and they are literally at 1717 Pennsylvania Avenue. They got 2 17s in there for all of you people who still are zeroed in on that number. It's all just so weird. You know, it's like when we bring Ryan Gable on to talk about synchronicities, about any one event. And he says synchronicities does not prove that there's something else there, but it is also something to pay attention to, if for no other reason than a nice, cozy Friday night talk. Now, here's where you come in. I'm going to go on a break 10 minutes early. When we come back from intermission, I want to hear from you. What do you think about all of this? What are you taking and what are you leaving? It's the last show before the inauguration. We got an hour to spend with each other. Let's have a good time. I want to hear everything you got on this, okay? So 914-200-0269. Make sure that you get your phones ready to go. Fire them up. Warm them up. We'll be back in just a little bit. Thank you so much.
It's intermission time, folks. Time out to press the like button. Thank you.
Quite frankly.
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 Quite frankly. Quite frankly.
Quite frankly.
Quite frankly.
Quite frankly, guys.
Quite frankly.
Quite frankly.
Quite frankly. So everybody watch. Quite frankly. With
Quite Frankly and Rise Attire have come together to create a merchandise collection that is sure to draw eyes and start conversation. High-quality t-shirts and hoodies that are perfect gifts for the Franklies in your life, or even if you just want to treat yourself. You can wear your Quite Frankly gear proudly, knowing that everyone else around you is a fucking loser for not already knowing about the show. So go to the merch tab on quitefrankly.tv and check out the growing collection of Quite Frankly classics, including the Founding Frankly, the Quite Nationals baseball tees and hoodies, the special edition Tony Black tee, or Protest the United Nations like a Chad. It's all laid out for you there on the quitefrankly.tv merch page. And remember, when you wear Quite Frankly merchandise, you're simply better than you were when you were naked. Welcome back. It's just you and me, ladies and gentlemen. It's 7:51. We have cracked open the Trump time travel conversation. I think this is I don't know if this is I think it's the first time we really went through that blog post seriously. We shared it a lot. I wanted to make sure that we had that archived on our blog, and it was on our own brand of telling the story and going through what's been collected and the dots that have been connected. But I think that this is the first time that we actually went through it from start to finish, and even read all of the initial response that was on those message boards early on. But I want to hear from you guys. So 914-200-0269. What are you taking? What are you leaving? Let's take a call. 908, you're on the air. Go ahead. Who's this?
This is Gina from New Jersey.
Hey, Gina, how you feeling?
Good, and you?
Oh, I'm all right. So what's on your mind tonight? Go ahead.
I really think that it could be real. I think if it's not time travel, I think maybe it's Project Looking Glass, and that they have access to technology that we don't understand or we don't necessarily know about. And I think that if God wants to use Trump, he can. And I think we need to all pray for that, because there's still a few days before the inauguration. They can still do crazy things to attack him and go against him. And we want to make sure that that doesn't happen. So continue to pray for Trump. God bless everyone.
Okay.
Take care.
Thank you so much, Gina. Gina from New Jersey. Looking Glass. That's another one. Of course, that it's like the chronovisor. You can see something. You're essentially peering in. I don't know how that is adjusted. But how many people? What was the guy's name? Patrick Wood? Was that his name, or that's somebody else? Patrick Wood, Looking Glass. Let me see. This is it. Looking Glass. No, Patrick Wood. No, that wasn't him. Somebody else. There was an interesting Looking Glass conversation about how the people who are in control of that technology to be able to see a timeline play out from different perspectives. Like you can actually test out different timelines from if you were to position yourself. You know how if you're reading one of those choose your story books and you can take the route to one place, you can tell the character to leave the basement of the haunted house, or you can tell the character to go run into the cemetery or whatever the hell it is, and wherever you go, you're jumping around the book and it's a different type of, ending. Well, apparently that's how Looking Glass has been said, that you can just be able to test how certain things are going to turn out. And what those who are in control of it had realized is that eventually they lose it all. And it's not the end of the world, but end of their world. And the chances of them being victorious in this and maintaining control and preventing the earth and everybody in it from being able to make new steps into higher consciousness and ending war and being more truly sustainable, not in a commie way. That was a situation. So are there more than one Looking Glass devices? And who's using it for what? Maybe he doesn't have to physically time travel. Maybe he doesn't. Who knows? Let's take another call. 609. You're on the air. Go ahead.
Frankie, what's up, dude? It's Adrian from Rise.
Hey, what's going on, Adrian? How you feeling?
Doing good, man. Doing good. You're on to one of my favorite topics tonight, dude. I'm loving it.
Go for it.
Well, I'm like 99% sold on this theory, and pretty much have been since I first dug into it. I mean, some of the stuff that was in the blog that was sort of in the latter part of the theory, talking about Pence and the army of Pences and stuff. I don't know about all that. I think that is kind of bullshit. But when you look at what was going on with the Ingersoll Lockwood, you just can't deny that stuff. It's crazy, and it goes so much deeper. If you look at Ingersoll Lockwood himself, he grew up where he was writing was in New York City. Right at the same time as Tesla.
Yeah. Now consider this. You do want to talk about synchronicity, you say, oh, that's spooky. But why would this obscure book take such a hold? If this all is just very conscious decision-making by Trump, why would this obscure book take a hold of him? Say, I need a tower on Fifth Avenue. I need a son named Barron. I'm going to become I'm going to be his man. I mean, he has so many children, and then there's Barron, and then there is the social climate in which his first presidency, came into being. There's a lot more presence on the street back then. As of right now, it seems like, the protesting is very, very tired racket. Nobody's really doing much of it, but. So all the the societal opposition is there. To say that is all just happenstance with the names and the places and the addresses and the bid for the presidency.
No, it's too much. It's too much. Either he was a clairvoyant psychic who could see into the future, or something was going on to bring that information to the past. I'm sort of the mindset that one of the last callers said that he might be in possession of some sort of Project Looking Glass type technology where he can just see into the future, not actually go there, or see into the past, whatever. But I wouldn't be surprised if he could somehow go there in some alternate timeline using this technology. I mean, he would have the finances, the money to kind of build the technology. His uncle had all the know-how. He's one of the most brilliant minds in the country at the time, and arguably the world. And if you look at that book, the books never really no one even heard of them until 2016. They just magically appeared. There's not even a record of people like talking about these books before Trump came into office. It's crazy.
It's a lot, and it makes you wonder why. Again, it's an obscure book, and you say, "Oh well," to say that Trump. I think what is crazier would to say that Donald Trump knew of this book and he felt a burning need to make everything in this book come to pass. You can't even force that into being because, of course, you can't force society into being overrun by Marxists and socialists and all that stuff. And but to say, oh no, I need the building on Fifth Avenue, I need the son named Barron, and it's because of this Ingersoll Lockwood book from the 19th century. It's that makes less sense than the other thing. So
yeah, and Ingersoll Lockwood was like grown, like he was like working right around the street from where Tesla was working at the same time. Like they probably knew each other.
That's it. Okay.
I mean, I'm not a proponent that that Barron is Donald Trump, but I don't know. He looks pretty damn tall. I think he's got some alien blood in him. I think Melania is like Palladian or some shit.
It could be. I mean,
who knows, man?
Yeah, I know. There's something very.
It's wild.
Yeah. I know. Well, thank you for the call, Adrian. I'm glad we're getting calls like this. I'm happy that people are vibing with it.
Yeah, I love it, man.
All
Keep going.
Have a good one. There you go, everybody. There's Adrian. He's the one of the minds behind Rise Satire and the Quite Frankly merch that we just played the commercial for. So I think I have the John Miller tape thing. We'll listen to that in a little bit. So. But yeah, let's take another call. 916, you're on the air. Hello.
Hey, Happy New Year, Frank.
Happy New Year. Who's this?
Hey, Peter.
Welcome to the show. Go ahead.
Hey, so a question for you real quick. Did Trump ever release his taxes in full? That never happened, right? They pushed and pushed, but he never released his taxes.
I don't know. I don't remember what happened. I just remember that whenever they got whatever was released, at every turn that more was released, it always showed that not only was he paying, but he was overpaying to offset in following year. Like MSNBC had an egg on their face every time that they held up a page of whatever the hell it was. So I really don't even remember how much was released.
Yeah, so I did. This was a couple of years ago, so I kind of went down a little rabbit hole with his uncle. And doing research on that, and with the Nikolai Tesla and his uncle, and so I was going over the business of the ad. My thought was, I was just thinking, well, maybe Trump can't release his taxes because he took over his uncle's company, and he was doing some high tech, maybe secretive stuff with the government, so he could never release his taxes. And they kind of knew that, but they kind of went down that rabbit hole trying to get him to release it. But I'll email it to you. I wrote a couple pages on it, put it on one of the boards. But in researching John Trump, one of his private companies, he was really into X-ray machines and whatnot. And there was this one, I can't remember exactly, but it was a couple paragraphs that he was needing more power. And in the description, they talked about a flux capacitor. I kid you not. So I went ahead and put this thing together, and I put it on one of the boards, and I was just blown away by it that they talked about a flux capacitor in John Trump's company to get more power for the X-ray machines that he was working on.
That's what they called it? Hold on, that comes from an official source too?
Yeah, I will email it to you because I'm driving right now, okay. But it said flux capacitor, and it was a description in one of his companies that he owned with a partner, and I forget the partner's name. So I titled it, They Never Thought She Would Lose. And I'll send that to you, but I was kind of doing like a time travel thing or looking glass that Trump, because they never thought she would lose. They had it in the bag, and all of a sudden, he won, and he didn't release the taxes. And I was like, man, this is kind of a big rabbit hole, but I'll send that to you.
Yeah, send it. Go ahead. Yeah, send it to the email. We'll take a look at it, and maybe it becomes an addendum to to what we already have on the website. I'd like to add to that just so it becomes almost like a compendium of all types of stuff. Thank you for that, my friend. I'll be looking out for it.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Drive safe. I would just need to know. Well, I mean, there's all types of privacy reasons. You say, to hell with it. You're not going to continue to molest me for bullshit reasons. You want to see my tax returns. You want to see my private life, my business life splayed out for all to see just because what? You want to concoct controversy and get me? That would be the biggest reason why I wouldn't show them anything. And I forget what was shown. I really do forget what was shown. But I don't know how much he would have to itemize in those tax returns that would have to say something about John Trump and secret technology. I don't know how much of that would be itemized. So I think that just might be an instance of, to hell with you. I have privacy rights as well, and you're just literally trying to molest me in front of the entire country via the media. So... But I can't wait to look at the email. 914-200-0269. Let's take another call. 424, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hey, buddy. It's Hollywood Carlos. How are you?
Hey, what's going on, Carlos?
No, it's been a minute. I didn't get to finish hear all of your last callers' topic on the book, the Barron Trump thing. But I read the book back in, I think it was 2021. I mean, it's just an opinion, and I'll shut up and you tell me what you think. But I feel like the whole Q thing, right? Of course, like everyone else who at first in 2020 started, diving into it. In the end, I ended up leaving it because I just think, honestly, it's a psyop, full stop. Because a lot of what they do, in my opinion, the powers that be, is they'll pepper you with true information, and then they'll throw it in with something wackadoo. That then you're like, okay, now they're going to use this to discredit the information that is accurate. And then I feel like the book is the same thing. I don't know if there are I know there are timelines. I just don't know if the book follows what many are coming to, which is that, he's jumping through dimensions and all that sort of stuff. I don't know, because I don't know. And unless I experience it myself, or there's a source that I can truly believe, I just don't know that I just feel like it's another psyop what are we doing? Everyone's talking about it now. And it's just distracting us from what we should really be, paying attention to, in my opinion. But I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I mean, the Q aspect, the only thing that came up about Q with this was at that little thing I threw in the end about that Ingersoll Lockwood website that had a proposal of what the 2026 World Fair would look like and where it would be and all that stuff. And they had
that's the part I missed.
That was that. The only thing that came up with is because it had a disclaimer that they were not part of the QAnon belief system or whatever the hell it was. But
that's interesting.
Yeah, but they just they're in doing that, they're the only one that brought that whole thing up, because as we were talking about here in this well-documented string of posts and theories, I mean, this started in the summer of 2016. So this predates all of that stuff. The Trump time traveling. True. Yeah.
True. But why didn't we hear about it before? Really, this world famous brand, right? We know, well, at least some of us knew that he was related to John Trump. The whole Nicola of it all, blah blah blah, that whole thing. Why didn't we hear about this book before 2016? I just don't.
Why didn't we hear?
I get my doubts
about the book itself.
Yeah,
I don't
know.
About
Ingersoll. I mean, for me, I was speaking for myself. I'm like, I don't understand how there's this book out there that's so, foresees what's going to come and all that stuff.
I don't think.
Really?
Now I don't think it foresees much. I don't think that there's like a.
I don't either, really, too. But people pick on the certain things that to prove that, oh my God, he's time traveling.
It's more so the synchronicity between a piece of literature that came, a couple of generations before Donald Trump was even born, and is essentially describing his life 100 years later. That was the whole thing.
Yeah, but the actual book, I'm an avid book reader. Obviously, you are too, and the book club and all that stuff. So how come I'm just baffled that I never heard of this book before?
Yeah,
when he's one of the most famous icons on the planet.
You know,
You know what I mean? Like, how does that happen? I don't understand.
I know. And you know, maybe John Carroll is watching right now. He can call in because it's a great question. Who was the one to find this? Is it just that somebody was? It could be as easy. And Carlos, is there anything else you wanted to say?
No, that's it. That's all I wanted to sort of propose, that question of like, how come we didn't really hear about this book before? So thank you.
It could have been, and thanks for the call. And I'm sure we can fill in this gap pretty quick, like how it started becoming, hey, look what I found, everybody. Like, for example, when the Dean Koontz novel about Wuhan lab and being the center, the epicenter of some kind of a, you know, lab leak or all that shit. It's stuff like that. You know, people catch this, and you know, sometimes you make predictions that, you know, to predict that someone is going to die. Well, everybody dies. It's when you predict a certain person dying in a certain place in a certain way, or a virus being released in a certain place at a certain time under certain circumstances, that people go, huh, that is oddly specific. Now, perhaps, and again, if anybody else has this backstory, because I remember when it just started becoming more. Hold on. I think John Carroll's here. Mike, you there?
Yes. How you doing?
So we just got through all this. Great work, by the way. You know, 5 years later, there's one thing that Carlos from Hollywood just brought up that I'm a little fuzzy on. Who was the first one to find the Ingersoll Lockwood book and actually comb through it and find all these crazy synchronicities? I have to imagine that it's just somebody that is at that point doing internet searches for Barron Trump and all that stuff, because Barron Trump's marvelous underground journey is it's part of the book's publishing. So maybe it's just as easy as that becoming, you know, getting a hit on that on a search engine or something. Do you know anything about the actual discovery?
The earliest thing that I saw was that it was someone doing pretty much that and then talking about it on the boards in future threads. So yeah, basically it was that 4chan post that spawned someone else going out and finding those books.
Okay.
Because it's such a random thing, you know. Why were those books even written? I don't know.
But
it's actually something I don't even know if he was like what else he wrote or what. But you know, you have a book from 1890 about a boy named Barron. His father is named Don. They live in Trump Castle, and he goes to Russia, of all places, into a portal to travel time. I don't know, but it's just, you know. But then the other thing too is right at the end there that Ingersoll Lockwood and the World's Fairs. That's where, I mean, this whole thing, we actually could go into a true golden age. And, you know, despite all of, you know, certain connections that Trump has that look a certain way, and we went through the whole thing with COVID and all of that. And when you scrutinize those sorts of things, it's like, oh, this is just business as usual. I don't know. And, you know, in 2018 and 2019, during those real fun Trump years, there was this energy, especially with like the eclipse and just, you know, the meme magic was so powerful around Trump. And we thought that, you know, post 2020, we were about to go into a golden age, that he was going to release all of the Tesla technology and we were going to have like actual World's Fair type things. And, you know, the whole world was going to be moving into something better than what it is right now.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what they're pushing for. And it'd be great if it happens. Now, I just don't know how do we get there?
At what point? Here's my question, because there's a lot of people who have already said, "Oh, come on, this whole thing is so obvious. It's a sham. It's not going to serve anybody any good." anywhere. And if you're excited about it, you must be getting paid to be excited. At what point do you say, okay, I guess this thing it's losing steam? Is it at the end of the term? Is it a year in? Like what are you going? What would you see? Is there anything that you'd be honest with yourself about and say, no, I guess it's not shaking out? Or are you going to hold out hope until the end?
Well, I mean, really, we have until the midterms, right? We're going to see. Right now, he's going to come in, and he's got his majorities, which are better than they were before. You don't have Paul Ryan in the House, and we don't know, but we need to see a lot of people go to jail. And, maybe there will be some people who don't. I know there was the Bill Clipgate circulating today saying, Bill Gates explaining how he sat down for 3 hours with Trump and he was just mesmerized and they're planning out a beautiful future together and whatever. But if a lot of people don't go to jail and they don't fix like these really systemic problems, like at the humanity level of like human trafficking and starting these wars for profit and all that sort of stuff. And those are, I mean, how do you get there? How do you solve things that big? I don't know. But we've got to start knowing pretty quickly because, if he just goes in there and they're fighting him the whole time, and the media is going to be another big one too, is these people who, like, the media is the CIA and the deep state and all that, right? And so if they're allowed to just keep operating like that, they're committing treason. So we're either going to see something spectacular or not. I don't know. But at least it's finally here. No more of this Biden dark age bullshit. Like, at least, if something's going to happen, it's going to start happening very soon.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. And then that's good. I think that's the best part is that we're going to know pretty well and pretty soon about just what we're going to get out of the deal. And also that just means that we have a little bit more cover. There's a little bit bigger air bubble for us in the capsized ship to continue on with what we're doing. I mean, everything we've talked about on the show, even in this past week, has been really spot on. I mean, again with insurance and new approaches to how we see healthcare and the funding of it all. We have to continue to build a parallel society outside of all that. Thanks for the call, Mike.
Yeah, you got it. Hey, just one more thing that I'll just add in there real quick.
Yeah,
is I still believe, and I will always say, the most important thing we ever lived through was COVID. And there's a whole lot that we learned from that. But the silver lining from COVID is that whole 2 weeks to stop the spread, they shut the entire world down and transformed everything. In 2 weeks, you can propagandize people with something good, and you can completely transform the world for the better. So I remain optimistic.
Hey, you got to be optimistic. I like that. Thank you, Mike. Hey, is this Jeremy Reese?
Yeah, it is, boss.
Everybody, it's Jeremy Reese, the alien scientist. Holy shit. Welcome to the show. Okay, so do you have anything on time travel? What do you got for us from a physics standpoint, whether it's published or unpublished? Lay down the line.
There's no direct evidence of time travel. And the whole thing that gives me trouble, I have trouble with it, is the fact that, causality is like how the whole universe is based. So it's like, if you can just go back and change like who your father was and search, you can change anything, like then there's no reality that exists in the present if you could just go back and edit it. So, if time travel is ever possible to the past, then, and the whole thing I take on a lot of these coincidences and stuff is that if you're going to manufacture an event, it's much easier to do it around, historical literature. Like if you look this up, like, I don't know if Trump named his son this on purpose in order to, make more controversy. Also, Barron Trump just sounds like a good name. It sounds like a good sounding name.
Yeah,
so it works. So, so maybe might have just been that Trump had the same, originality is the author of that. So I don't know. There's all these different other explanations for those kinds of things, and we just have to, keep our noses to the ground going forward with evidence, because there's just going to be a lot of foolery that goes on, I believe, in the next 4 years, because AI is just taking over so much and they're able to do so much with AI now. In the future is going to be a lot different moving forward. Because of that, I think there's not enough attention that's really drawn to that. The ability to go back through all the past literature, so that you could do this with future events, so that you can plan future events around these sort of past things, so that they stick easier. So you can it's easier to if you're going to manufacture an event, to have it stick to some historical script, and then people look that up and they're like, oh, these people published that before, maybe they were involved, and then you can spread all kinds of rumors to throw people off the trail, and they do this with AI. They have entire companies out there that have troll armies and bot farms that forum populate and do perception management and try to and they also have teams of the people on these research teams that I'm learning about. They will dig into your personal life and dox you, and we see this all over Twitter now happening, on the reg, and it's just crazy what kind of future we're moving into. I think there needs to be some sort of move to regulate AI. That it should be illegal to be using AI for these sort of activities and these purposes, because it's an unfair battlefield when if you have an AI bot army and a troll army, doxing you, and these activities are just I don't know. There needs to be some sort of thing done on these activities, because it seems to be a very dangerous game moving forward, and they've dominated the playing field with a lot of these things using AI leverage. So I just thought I'd add that to the mix. And Jack Sarfati too. He's the guy that believes in time travel. He's a PhD from Cornell, and worked with scientists from the Manhattan Project and stuff. But again, I just wait for the evidence, of that. It would be cool. But it just it bends my mind because of causality and how that would just destroy reality.
Especially if you're coming from a standpoint that time is linear. If you then of course if everything is on one linear timeline, then it seems impossible. That's why there's more complex theories that I can't articulate, and I've heard people try to break down in different settings where it's outside of that realm, where you start talking about timelines and splitting, where there's actually duplicate timelines where certain things are changed, where almost like in a Twin Peaks kind of a way, instead of Back to the Future linear time, prevent the person's grandfather from ever meeting the grandmother, and therefore you disappear from the Polaroid. I can see what you're talking about with that. It's impossible, because what I think what would happen is, the moment the time machine or the technology to actually traverse time is completed and it is functional and it's capable of doing what everybody would hope it would do, I think everything would disappear. Because if you take human kind, if you just continue to go on down the road where we usually do, we test the limits of everything. Eventually somebody is going to use that technology that's going to fuck everything up. So I think as soon as the last screw is put into place, everything disappears, because somewhere down the line, somebody, if we're all on one timeline, is going to screw everything up. So I understand what you're saying about.
Yeah, the universe is just built full of illusions, and you have the illusions in the mathematics that they say, oh, you can have time travel locally, but can you have it globally, and can you actually rewind the tape for everything everywhere for a long period of time and more than just a few nanoseconds at a nanoscale? And that's a lot harder and takes a lot more energy. And then again, just imagine everybody has a time machine. Just imagine, this is new technology, guys. Go down to Kmart and buy your time machine. Now everyone's got a time machine. Yeah, you're right. Reality would cease to exist because you'd have everybody running through the dimensions everywhere, just erasing and rewriting it. And I don't think the universe would be able to account or keep. It's just not how it's wired. It's not how the physics runs out. I can't see it. But I mean, and also I think a lot of this is put out to confuse people about the timeline, because timelines are important to establishing anything in forensics. This is what the first thing that police do when they try to figure out, well, what the heck happened, is they establish a timeline, right?
Yeah.
It's like number one. So without a timeline, you don't have any forensics. And if people are taught that, taught this, then they're not going to have any forensic ability to tell when, hey, was this a false flag operation? How do I investigate this? How do I know if my government's lying to me? And that's what they want, is a populace that doesn't know and doesn't question anything.
Well, and one last thing, I thought it was really interesting what you're saying about AI, because we were doing quite a few, a couple of minutes on some more AI related stuff last night, as as it pertained to the latest Call of Duty and what's been hidden in the back end of all of that coding and stuff like that. Can you actually clone the users and make digital copies of them? But it's really interesting what you say about AI being able to do stuff in the future at an accelerated clip, essentially going through and scanning through literature to create, in a sense, self-fulfilling prophecies, or something that people could find, or to publish it on Twitter as posing as a human who was doing a little bit of digging, and the whole thing was fabricated, because we're talking about centuries of literature and stuff that can be pieced together in very intelligent, convincing ways. And you're right, that could be that could definitely be something that you want to talk about. Muddying the waters. That's big. Well, thank you for that, Jeremy Reese. I did not expect to see your name pop up, but wonderful thoughts, and thank you.
Yeah, Happy New Year. Thanks for taking my call. And remember, like, history is just we don't even know, like, if you see what's happened in the last 4 years with history and how it's reported and written down, I don't know if we can trust any of it. Anyways, Thanks, and have a great night.
Yes, can't wait to have you back on in an official capacity, my friend. Have a good one.
For sure.
There you go. Everybody go check out the Alien Scientist on YouTube. Jeremy Reese. That's RYS. Okay, this is a big hot topic. It's 8:25. Let's take another really quick break, and then we're coming down the home stretch, okay? Don't go anywhere. Let's keep this going. I've got text. I've got super chats coming in. I got more calls. 914-200-0269. We're going to take it right to the end, okay? BRB.
Hey, Frank, you're one talented guy. You're very good. Very good.
People treat each other badly. There are assholes out there, and there are more conservative societies than others. We see that right now. Still in the Middle East. You think about the women who wear the burqas and everything else, and that is something that perhaps deep down inside they wish were different, but maybe they don't. Maybe it's they have a devotion to some higher authority and the family and God and all that other shit, where to us it's repulsive because we think everybody should walk around in a fucking G-string and do nothing but complain when people look at their jiggling asses and their big, beautiful, bouncing asses walking around with the flesh-toned yoga pants. It looks like they're naked. With their, the jiggling asses, the big bouncing round asses.
Here it is. That's not how you open a can of pickles. There's no pop when she opens it. Pop. You pop them open. You pop them open. You pop them, pop them. You don't turn them like it's peanut butter or jelly or something. Can we zoom in on this? You have to pop it, ladies and gentlemen. You have to pop it. Pop. It's popped. It's vacuum sealed. It's vacuum sealed. Pop, pop. You open it by pressuring down and popping. Look at that. I can't even really get it open because my hands are wet. Good God. I can't even open this. This is real. This is really happening. I can't even open this. Worked up a sweat there. I couldn't open it.
This is Jay with Car Guys New England, and you're watching Quite Frankly.
Hard questions. Don't you worry. Don't you worry, my friends. Don't you worry. And the day it happens, we will all be thrilled. 914-200-0269. All right, over on quitefrankly.tv, Patriot Game. Thank you for the cookie. Rise of Tire says cataracts in the Cadillac. Big pimpin'. Cave Toad says, tell your governor the 90s is calling and they want based back. Yeah. And also says, oh no. Stripper throat, Matt, who will protect Donald? I know. Can you imagine? He's out of commission a couple of days before the inauguration. But then again, the inauguration is inside. I haven't had anybody comment on that yet. Are you actually happy that it's inside? That you don't have to deal with that kind of issue. Let's see. Paying attention and comfy is never bad. God bless all Franklies. The Sentinel says, I remember the book was on the cue board after the narrative Alice in Wonderland and Looking Glass post. So that's where somebody saw it and posted it first. I'd like to know when that started, because that's a portion of this timeline of events. The other thing, the actual time travel theory and the lightning strikes and all that stuff, John Trump, that was being dug up a couple of years before that went on. The Q drops and that timeline. Let's see. C. Blanche and Witchy Poo. Witchy Poo left a sleeve of cookies. All the best to you. Thank you so much. All right, let's take some more calls. 360, you're on the air. Go ahead. Who's this?
Yo, what up? This is Ross the Bear. I'm calling from Portland, Oregon.
Hey, good to have you on. We are connecting the coasts right now. So, what are you thinking tonight? Lay it on me.
Well, I like your topic tonight about Ingersoll Lockwood and that whole rabbit hole of theories and whatever's connected to that with John Trump and Nikola Tesla, and I've looked into a lot of that deeply, and it's a fascinating subject. When you're talking about Barron Trump, some people even theorize that he's a Nephilim because of his massive height and his mysterious persona. And it's an interesting thing. My take on it is that we're in some type of divine simulation of sorts, and we have the creator who runs the whole thing, and we're soul consciousness that's inside of this. And so that would obviously give us the ability to have time traveling and different stargates that are different locations, even ones that could potentially take us to places like Mars and other places without having to actually leave the Earth on a rocket ship, yet through like a Stargate.
Well, okay, yeah. There's to that point, I just got an email today that our friend of the show, Andrew Bishago, who talked about jump rooms to Mars and all that stuff, would like to come back on to talk about all of like the proofs in his story, which really go hand in hand. When Andrew Bishago came on the first night, we spent a good amount of time talking about Looking Glass and chronovisors, especially the Vatican technology that has been rumored to have existed first, and all that stuff. So I'd like to do a little bit more on that. Maybe another Saturday night special if we can start those up again soon too. But anything else you have just to wrap up your thoughts, that would be great.
Well, I like the whole. I'm excited for Monday. It's living here in Portland, it's kind of a liberal stronghold, and so a lot of people around here are not very excited. They've been pretty bummed ever since the election results and all that, which I
get you.
I find quite entertaining, and so it's going to be an exciting show, and I'm thankful for this opportunity. I have hope that that we have the ability to basically step into whatever timeline that us as a collective consciousness has, to come together and step into it.
Sir, I would say with that, and again, thank you for the call. I would say that's more of an individual thing. I don't look at anything that's going on the television on Monday, and it'll be interesting. I will observe everything, and there will be a certain level of excitement to it. The real excitement is going to be what happens 5 minutes afterwards, or it's a day of inaugural balls and all that. What happens the next day, first day of work? That'll be the interesting thing to observe. As far as anything that has to do with citizenry and real changes in the culture, that's going to be people. The people who made this happen, people who went out there and voted against all odds and made the tricks of 2020 untenable in 2024. It's up to those, every last one of those tens of millions, to continue to self-educate and to ask questions and to socialize. And hopefully that is really what shakes things up. Really, that's where it's at right there. All right, so hold on. I have a couple of things here. I want to find here's a minute-long clip of Megyn Kelly talking to somebody. I forgot what, I think this is the woman who was receiving the John Miller audio tapes at the Washington Post. If this is not it, I'll watch the longer one. I don't care. This is hilarious. Take a listen to this.
PR person, I would say, no, I never did. I have never done something like that, ever. I wouldn't say that doesn't sound like me.
Right.
The chyron at the lower third of the screen from Fox News from years ago says, Trump denies he called reporters in the 1990s posing as his own publicist.
So you don't believe him. Were you surprised to see him misleading?
No, I'm not surprised to see him misleading. Of course not. I mean, I would probably be a little shocked that this came into my life. But Megyn, the main thing here is that I didn't leak the tape. And there were two people on the conversation.
Wait, you taped it because you're a reporter doing your job?
Yeah, and I lost the tape.
Were you the only one with a copy of the tape?
Yes.
When did you lose it?
Back 25 years ago.
Could somebody have stolen it?
No. It was in my house, and then I moved apartments.
So who else would have had a copy of the tape?
Donald Trump.
Wait a minute. So you're suggesting Trump leaked this to the Washington Post?
Yes.
Why?
You got me. He's done stranger things.
Because he loves publicity?
Yeah.
So you're suggesting that he may want us talking about this right now because it generates a news cycle, perhaps?
Hello, Donald.
Wait a second. Where are the tapes? Where Trump denies the fake 911, the fake 1991 call to a reporter? Of course, well, you have to deny it. You must. Well, hold on. What's this?
The real amazing story of Donald Trump's old spokesman, as the Washington Post headline writes, may be that it's been such an open secret for so long, it's hard to believe that anyone is still questioning it.
What's your name again? John Miller. And you work with Donald? Yes, that's correct.
It was back in the 1980s, and when the flashy New York real estate mogul needed to get a bit of news out, the newspaper reports it was common knowledge among New York reporters that Trump just assumed a different name and handled the media calls himself, like this call from reporter Sue Carswell at People magazine concerning Trump's breakup with girlfriend Marla Maples.
What kind of comment is coming from either your agency or from Donald? Well, it's just that he really decided that he wasn't, he didn't want to make the commitment. He didn't want to make a commitment. He really
It's Donald Trump. Come on. It's hilarious. It's hilarious. And this is what he does with conventional technology. This is just a telephone. Can you imagine if you give him a time machine? What the hell? What would Donald Trump do with a time machine? Come on now. That's just hilarious. I love the John Miller tape stories. It's just hilarious. Let's take a call. 970. Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Benjamin. Second time caller, long time listener.
Hello, Benjamin. Welcome back. Yeah. Oh, you know what? We were talking to you a couple days ago. You are the guy whose girlfriend's boyfriend met Andrew Basiago as he was time traveling.
Exactly. And you're speaking about tonight the Ingersoll Lockwood books and Trump and I guess the coincidences that correlate with potential time travel situations with either Trump or someone within his universe, so to speak. And I just felt appropriate to call just to kind of point out there's clearly a tie-in, because in the Andrew Basiago interview that you spoke about, he specifically says that the knowledge came from Donald Trump's uncle, John Trump. So there's a tie-in there. So I figured I'd just call him.
Well, wait a second. Benjamin, it's really great that you called, because I have not received any correspondence from you since the last time you called.
No, I haven't had the opportunity. I'm taking care of my daughter a lot. She's 6 years old. She just turned 6.
No, I totally get that. What I want to say is that, and I respect that, I should say, I received word that Andrew Basiago would like to come on and talk with me, but I can't pull the trigger on that until I know more about your friend's experience, because this would be that would be the main thing that I'd like to open up the conversation with. So please, if you can, reach out to me in email so we at least have a line open of communication, okay?
Okay, yeah, no problem.
All right, thank you for the call.
I wanted to call in and say I'm enjoying the show, and I'm kind of big into time travel, so usually when you do these time travel or more esoteric shows, I really like listening to them.
Well, I like doing them, and you know what? I think that for the next few years, the show is going to right itself in a number of ways, because there's going to be a lot happening, and perhaps it'll give us more time to go into the what if side of things, in correlation to what's playing out in public. We had to do that the last 4 years, but there was usually little correlate. Everything coming out of the so-called Biden administration was just it was just nonsense. It had nothing to do with Joe Biden. Had nothing to do with that laughing jackal behind him. So we didn't spend too much time on the headlines with that. We found a lot of other things to discuss with ourselves, and of course, it always had some relevance to society. But I'm hoping that we're entering into some kind of a time of even greater revelation, apocalypse. All right, let's take a call. 309, you're on the air. Go ahead. And away they went. 720, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hey, Frank, I was wondering if anybody made a link between Ingrid Cole and the author of this book. I'm sure somebody's already done that. Remember Ingrid Cole from the Mothman Prophecies?
No, I did not. I did not make that. Let's see here. Ingrid Cole, a mysterious legendary being believed to be connected to the Mothman, first encountered by Woodrow Derenberger, as reported in the John Keel nonfiction book, The Mothman Prophecies. He described as being a humanoid entity claiming extraterrestrial origin with an inhumanly large smile on his face. No,
and the author of this Barron Trump book, they're just their names are kind of similar.
Well, Ingersoll Lockwood. Ingersoll is the first name, and then Ingrid Cole is the full name. I can see that Ingersoll Lockwood and then Ingrid Cole. There's something there, but I don't know. I think that might be a little bit of a stretch, as if tonight hasn't been a stretch as it is.
I know. All right. Thanks, Frank.
Well, thank you. Thank you, my friend. There's something going on. But there's a lot of fat around this. And I know the fat is usually the best part on the steak. But sometimes there's a little bit too much. You got to trim a little bit of the fat. Sometimes. It was a cheap cow. The cheap cows have a lot of, just like too, you're like, oh, okay. I like fat, but I can't have a mouth of fat. Whale blubber. Like that scene from Waterworld where the little girl is eating the whale blubber. She's chewing it for the entire fucking scene. Used to drive me crazy. Chew the goddamn whale blubber. Swallow it or spit it out. Please. Hello? You're on the air. Go ahead.
Sometimes a little bit. Hi, Frank.
Hello?
Hello.
Yes, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Okay.
Okay, listen, you gotta turn off the stream and listen to me on the phone.
I'm listening on the phone right now, Frank. Come on. Been trying to get hold of you, and
Okay, sir. I'm sorry. You're gonna have to. We'll try that again some other time. Oh, all right. Let's see here. Let's take another. Let's say 304. You're on the air. Go ahead.
Hey, Mr. Frank.
Hey,
Man,
who's
it's
this?
been a minute, but yeah, it's Cherokee Country Boy. We talked about the Yankees. Don't want to get into that, unfortunately, but yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, we don't have to hell with that right now. We have many months before we can get ourselves upset. So, what's on your mind?
I got a question for you, actually. So Trump's coming in, thank God, and I just want to know your opinion on how long it'll take before the economy might shift. However you think about it, and I'll let you go, brother.
Wait, how long do you think before the economy? Did you say shift or shits?
No, shift. Like it's, well, I'm a country fuck, so shifts.
Okay.
SHIFT.
Shifts into what direction? Because there's a lot of, I don't know. We're so over leveraged here. I know the dollar is supposedly strong right now, but I mean there's just so much. There's so much debt, and there's definitely going to be a little bit of hiccups and some corrections going on with the tariffs. I understand why it's being done, and so I don't know. I'm not a big economist type. I'm never going to be able to really tell you what I think is coming. All I know is that from a household economics standpoint, if I were, and thanks for the call, if the United States government were the Frankly household, and it's me and Lauren doing all of our books and looking at what we got coming in and what we got going out and how much credit card debt we have, I'd say that we're in bad shape. I'd say we're in bad shape. So I don't know how you clean that up. I'm still of the belief that it's not possible to clean up. I was waiting for some kind of a sign of what we're going to be transitioned into so that they can reset the odometer on this thing and just zero it all out. So yeah, okay. Let's go. That's what I would say. Hey, Benny, what the hell's on your mind, man?
Frank, how you doing? First time I'm calling.
I
Great
know.
show.
Oh well, thank you. I hope you're having fun.
I am. A fascinating show, the whole time travel, Barron Trump and all that. That's great. My question, though, is Pence. You mentioned Mike Pence briefly, and I'm sorry if you answered this or you talked about it. I missed part of the show, but he's got to, in my opinion, he's still involved, or he's got to be still a part of it. I don't know. It's always been fascinating to me because I just couldn't believe he turned his back on Trump so easily. I don't know. It's just something that I wanted to bring up. I don't know I wanted to know what you thought too. So
a lot of people saw, that would be an interesting show, or maybe a side bonus topic for one night where I can ask people their biggest Mike Pence theories, because I think most people I've spoken with believe that he was just one of those One of those many compromises that had to be made the first time around, like where they're dragging around so many old school Paul Ryan RNC types and that never really had best interests of anything in mind. Now, as far as what the expectations of what Pence was supposed to be able to do or was constitutionally able to do on January 2021, that's still really up in the air to me. I've heard, we've had people call in say, actually, Chrisanne Hall came on, said that there's really nothing that Pence could have done to stop anything. But it's all the stuff afterwards. There's seemed to be a big falling out afterwards. You say what?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I tend to look at him as one of those compromises. There's a lot of bad compromises that are made.
The one scene that always raised eyebrows for me was when he was, and I can't remember the guy's name, but he was like the acting FBI director, and he came up, and that guy was all nervous and stuff like that, and Mike Pence was. I gotta send you the scene for what I'm talking about. I wish I should have prepared for it.
Are you talking about Rod Rosenstein?
No. It was. I'll send it to you. So, and then we could save it for that other show you mentioned about Mike Pence theories.
Well, because the Pence thing in here, in this theory in particular, I do think that this is the easiest one to dismiss. But I don't know. I don't know what people really think of him out there. I'd like to hear their opinions one day, even though he's becoming less and less relevant.
Yeah, that's true too. We'll see. Time will tell.
Yeah, indeed,
anyway,
man.
Thanks, Frank.
Hey, it's great to hear from you, Benny.
Talk to you soon.
See ya.
Ciao.
Ciao. All right. We're coming up. Quite frankly, superchat.com says, let's see here. Quite frankly, superchat.com. That's for all of you guys. No matter where you watch, especially on YouTube, because there's no monetization there. Says, Car Guys New England. Happy Friday, Frank. Have a blessed weekend. 2025 will polish up my cataract glasses and get that, what is it? The Caprice on the back bumper. Much love. I don't know, the Caprice? What does that mean? I'm not a big car guy. I don't know what the hell that means. Maybe I'm missing something. Anyway, thank you so much, Car Guys. All right, into the, we got everything over there on Rumble. CB Joey on quitefrankly.tv says, I'm an hour behind. Did you know that Trump bought Bedminster from John DeLorean? No, I did not. That's interesting. Another synchronicity. That's interesting. So yeah. Well, anyway, listen, we're going to be wrapping up in just a couple of minutes here. So let me just tell you what we have going on after hours. Oh, and you know what? Something else from Jay Gulinello. Jay Gulinello's health, the beta program, it's closed. There's only 40 spots. I think 41 people squeezed in there. And I was talking to Jay earlier before. He just wanted me to pass along his gratitude to everyone who took part in this beta program. It'll soon be open for all to join. Just Jay and his partner Jen, they're going to be spending the next 90 days really working out all the kinks, seeing how well they handle the volume and all that stuff, and really give everybody, how meeting with everybody and taking care of their cases all works out. And then it's going to be open for all to join. And there'll probably be a big discount or a discount for anyone coming from this show's audience. So I just want to pass that along on his behalf. Thanks, everybody. And the beta program has officially begun. They're going to be working on it all throughout the weekend and getting that started. And we'll see how it goes over the next 90 days. And that's what I'm talking about. What's going to be the real rubber that meets the road? Regardless of what Trump is doing, I always pray for surprises. I always pray for dubious characters that are around him to have some sort of a redemption-style character arc, and for good things. To be surprised, to be pleasantly surprised, and to be given more chances for new generations to come in and be a little bit more bold. If all you can do right now is just get an inch, maybe we get 2 inches somewhere down the line. If that's what it is, that's what it is. But Jay right there is an example of bringing direct care to a marketplace that is really, really hungry for something that is effective and also personal, private, that this show is part of a growing landscape of new media that you can go to and access in a number of different ways without having to pay a exorbitant cable bill. In fact, many of you watch for free, and it's always going to be free to access. I ask you to voluntarily support the show by going to quitefrankly.tv and going to the Sponsor Us tab and becoming a sponsor for as little as $5 a month. There's so much going on out there. This is where we can really put the pedal to the metal and create the future that we want. But in the meantime, it's always good to monitor those who might have a little bit more of those wonderful toys. Those toys that we can't get our hands on. That would be interesting to see somebody, to see something pop off that we can't explain, because it'd be fun conversation. But what we have going on after the show, here is what is happening. John Carroll has this all worked out for you. Crazy Days and Nights, 10-second songs. Trevor Moore, My Computer Just Became Self-Aware. Conspiracy presentations, time-traveling Trumps. Okay, so that's the actual presentation. It's going to be the fourth one up in the rotation tonight. Then Jason Burmis, David Lynch, Question Reality in the Official 9/11 Narrative. Vlad Vexler Chat, Nikolai Peltrushev says Ukraine may cease to exist in 2025. Timothy Gordon, My Reaction to Mel Gibson on Stoner Joe podcast. Really Graceful, the North American Technate, Elon's Past, Trump's Future. We have Mr. MBB 333. In less than 72 hours, the world may change forever. And then an Art Bell kicker with Madman Markham, Time Traveler. The Madman Markham episodes are pretty interesting. I think he's still out there somewhere. But that all starts as soon as this show ends in just a couple of minutes on quitefrankly.tv. So start migrating over there. Doesn't matter if you don't have an account with Pilled. All you have to do is press play. And if you want to enter the chat, you can register right through the chat, and all it takes is an email address. But please, ladies and gentlemen, support the show and everybody that works on it, and become a sponsor this weekend. I'd love to welcome you all individually. I have about 100 and some odd. I'm still writing Christmas cards. I'm going to get them all done by tomorrow. Those will be out by Monday. So I'm sorry for the delay, but it always takes until about mid-January for us to get completely through it. And then we have to start working on our mailers, our regular mailers every week. So you guys have been wonderful to me. And please email the show if you have anything you want to say that we can bring onto the record in a follow-up to this, because it's obviously we're not done with it. We're not done with it. And we might be strapping in to see the sparks of the old machine come to life again in just a couple of days. So I appreciate you all, and thank you so much for the time. Good night, and have a wonderful weekend.
I'll catch you on the flip side.
Quite Frankly is filmed before a live studio audience, and now our super chatters, starting with Car Guys New England and Jay Britz. Thank you to Katie Sky and Ann Mears on Rumble. To all of our gold pillars on quitefrankly.tv, we're about to release the scratching while you're sitting there, all nice and comfy on your big jiggly asses. And then also, that's it. Become a sponsor and enjoy the after hours programming. Good night.
But the kind of anger that is just bitter, just like selfish kind of anger, no one wants to be around this kind of person, and the person's poisoning himself. The person can't work so good. That's mind control. Negativity is really mind control. Depression controls the mind now. Can't work. Anger controls the mind. You can't work. Sorrow. Some people hold sorrow for years. And you want to visit them and cheer them up, but it doesn't do anything. You get them the chance to transcend and watch what happens. Sorrow will lift away. They'll be back on the road.
Will you shut up? No.